What's happening, man?
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for the time today. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Let's jump into beers and sunshine, man. It's funny that we're talking about this today when everybody's getting hit with all the snow. And I understand you guys just got hit in Carolina too, which is not a thing. You know, when you look at Texas too, and they're getting it, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's this weather is getting crazier and crazier, and it's going to happen. But it's like, I saw a picture today of it snowing in Saudi Arabia, man. That's crazy.
It is. But it's one of the reasons why Beers and Sunshine is such a good tune at the right time, because as we look out and see all this crazy snow, and I was out shoveling the driveway this morning, I'm thinking, man, I can't wait till like 5 o'clock this afternoon because I'm going to sit down with a cold beer and just relax and stay inside. So you recorded this actually over Zoom. Can you explain how does that even work?
Ross, the producer, just has a home studio, and he knew all the guys that we use that had home studios, and he just called them, and they connected over the internet, over Zoom or whatever we were using at the time, and he just recorded it.
Wow.
And I'm with you. That's crazy to me that we did a song that way, but those guys got the groove and it worked, and I don't ever want to do it that way again.
Right. I guess that was going to be my next question was, do you think that that'll change the way that music gets recorded in the future? Because it is so odd to me, and I'd like to think that normally when you're recording a tune, there's something about being in that studio and having your producers right there with you. And I don't know, just kind of feeling the whole thing from my perspective. And I've never recorded music, but it seems weird to do it sitting in like your living room, on a computer screen with other people. It
is. It's totally weird. It's the thing is, we all did it individually. So like you never saw anybody. It was never,
right.
That's what I love about the studios, when we're all sitting around and I'm saying to those guys, I want it to sound like this, and I want it to do this, and they're going, they're doing that numbers thing. Well, yeah, we're gonna do the 1-3 with the sus4, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but just play it. But I missed that, but we're back to that with the record, so that's cool.
So is the record completely done at this point?
Almost. I got one more session, probably another 3 or 4 song session that I want to do, and see what happens with those songs, and then I'll put it together, and hopefully we get it out in the spring and summer.
When can we, spring and summer, are you going to do, because the new popular thing is that everyone's dropping, 3-4 songs at a time out on, Spotify and those kind of platforms, or are you still kind of old school and just release the album all together and say, here's the project?
I don't know. I'm going to put out my singles, and then I'm going to put out my album. I'm old school. I still make records. I still make I still sequence it the way I want people to hear it. I just don't front load it with hits. I know how I want. I'm still making records, so I like to put them out.
It's my personal favorite too. And that's not a knock on anyone that does it the other way. But
absolutely not.
For me personally, there's something about sitting down and listening to a full album, because you kind of hear, first off, you hear songs that you're never going to hear on the radio. And a lot of times I find that, you find these gems in these albums that,
always.
Man, what a phenomenal song that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always. And that's what records were for me. Like even now when I got a bunch of vinyl up there, and I listened to one half of a record. I remember how awesome it was to just, and you and your friends always knew songs that nobody else knew because you listened to that record so much, and that was awesome. And now it's a singles driven, every industry is a single driven industry, but I'm still making albums.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well,
Tell me about on the 95th anniversary of the Grand Ole Opry, you get to perform, Charlie Pride's song on that stage. I mean, that's got to be an incredible moment for you. Can you kind of walk me through that?
They asked me to do the TV show, and I was so happy that a national network was going to do the whole show, and so of course I would have been a part of it no matter who was doing it. But it was so cool, and they asked me what I wanted to sing, and for me there was no question that I wanted to sing "Kiss an Angel Good Morning." We had just lost my friend, and we had just lost an Opry brother, and somebody who changed the landscape of country music, and I wanted to honor him in that way by just singing his biggest song.
Well, it was a phenomenal moment, probably my favorite of the entire night. I got to ask about Vince Gill, because before he introduces you, he says, and I'm going to read it so I make sure I don't mess it up. but he says, I don't think there's a more beloved guy in our music than you. And this is as he's getting ready to introduce you, Darius. And it's true. I've had the pleasure of meeting you a few times. And again, not a knock on anybody else, but there's just something about you. It just makes you smile. You're always happy. You're always in a good mood. And obviously you've been at this for a while. Why would you say, because you have the right to be jaded if you want to be, you are a legend, and nobody would blame you, Darius. Nobody would blame you if you were kind of an a-hole. We wouldn't at all, but you're not. You're such a genuine guy. Why is that? How do you continue to stay grounded?
I mean, it's really the way I was raised. I mean, thank you for saying that, but I can't be any other way. I mean, there's times I want to be a jerk, and unless you make me really mad, I can't. And I like being nice. It's so much easier to be nice to people. For me, maybe it's the other way for some people, but for me, it's so much easier to be nice or take a second and listen to somebody. Or when you're seeing somebody that you love, go up and smile and say, hey, and that's me. And I don't let a lot of things get me down to a point to where it wears me down to where I got to be a bad person, because that's just not how I was raised.
Good advice. I want to talk about the song It Won't Be Like This for Long. And then I have a question about it too, because I hear the song for the first time, and I think it was 2008 when it came out. And it's a great song. I'm playing it on the radio. That's the end of that. Years later, I want to say had to be at least 2014. I'm driving down the road and the song comes on the radio, and I have to pull over because I'm in tears. Now, at this point, I've got 2 children at home.
Yes.
And it's one of those songs that hits you differently. It's an unbelievable song. So it's a 2-part question. Can you walk me through that song and writing it and what it meant for you? And then have you ever had the moment that I had where you experience a song and then years later it hits you differently for whatever reason?
Oh yeah. I mean, that song, Ashley Gorley was part of the writing team on that. And I remember him talking about his kids, and me just being shocked that he had kids, their kids' age, because he looks so young.
Yeah.
He's not, he looks so young. And I thought he was in his 20, 21. And he told me he was like 31 or something. Like, are you kidding me? And we're talking about kids, and Crystal Ball's in there. And we're talking about kids, and we were talking about what's going on. And my kids were a little older, and we were talking, and we were, somebody said it won't be like that for long. And that everybody just went, light bulbs. Let's write that. And Ashley came up with that opening riff, and it was easy to write. We just started writing about our kids.
Yep.
And we wrote it in no time, and it was just one of those songs that we knew it was going to be special.
Have you ever had that moment for you? And maybe it's one of your own songs, maybe it's somebody else's song that you heard it and it's a great tune, but then years later, for whatever reason, it just resonates a little bit more with you.
Yeah, and the funny thing, it's probably one of my favorite songs ever. And Al Green, Al Green's version of For the Good Times is one of my favorite songs ever. And I sang that as a kid. I would sing that around the house. I know it backwards and forwards, And later on, when I was in college or something, this girl breaks up with me, and that comes on, and I play an Al Green album, and that comes on, and I heard it for the first time what the song really meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the first time, I heard what the song meant, and I just cried, man.
No, it's great. It's funny because you saying that reminded me of a song that my dad used to play, Smokey Robinson, a lot around the house. And there's a song, Tracks of My Tears, that because my dad had it on, I would sing it. And, at my age at that time, I must have been 10 or 11. I don't know. It's just a great song. I'm just singing along. And then you get your heart broken and you listen to that song and you're like, oh my God.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. 100%. I read a story that you collect a lot of memorabilia and you have Ric Flair's robe. Is that a true story? Do you really have it?
Yes, that's one of the great Hootie stories of our lives. Yes, I have that. I have it in the closet, actually.
How did you even buy Ric Flair's robe? Like what happened?
It was the Jimmy V golf tournament for the Cancer Society. They had a big golf tournament every year, and they would have Hootie played several times. I played by myself, but we were there. I mean, everybody was there. Jordan was there. There was just a bunch of people with a lot of money there, and so they auction off this motorcycle, and I decided I want a motorcycle. So we said, we're going to buy this motorcycle for me. And we go, and Jordan wants it. And we're bidding against Jordan. And finally, he just turns over to us and lets us know, you're not going to get the motorcycle.
Right.
So we give up. We give up. And then when they brought this out, I was so excited that we didn't get the motorcycle. And I turned to these guys and I said, I don't care what it cost me. I'm walking out here with that robe. And we sat there, and I'm just going to say, I paid way, way, way too much money for it, but it went to a cancer charity. But it's probably, besides the Dan Marino game worn jersey, it's tied with that for my favorite piece of memorabilia I got. I mean, that's Ric Flair. Ric Flair wore that into the ring.
Have you talked to Ric Flair personally about it since then? Like, if you met him and had that convo?
Oh, we've been friends since I was almost in college. He used to come play, wrestle at Columbia, and I'd hang out with him in the bar. And so we've been friends for a long time. And actually, he was there, and every time the other guy would bid, he would go into Ric Flair. Oh, your record's the number one for 72 weeks. What, you know,
that's great.
Thing. You gonna let him take this from you? No, I'm not.
What a great story. You mentioned Michael, and I got to bring it up because I know that you're a fantastic and avid golfer as well. Have you had the chance to golf with Michael? And I only know the stories that I've heard about his, he's a competitive guy. And when he gets on the golf course, he's always betting and doing these little one-off bets and all that kind of stuff.
You know, Michael's a great dude, but I've heard some stories too. It wasn't that way with me. You know, we did our thing, but yeah, I've heard some stories. I've heard some stories. Yeah.
Let's talk about this dare that I read you went for. This was back when you were with Hootie and the guys, obviously, and you were dared to stay awake for 4 days. Is that true?
Oh my God, this is true. This is a true story.
What happened?
And it was me and Chris Carney and Bruce Hebel. And everybody had gone away for the weekend. It was one of those weekends that weren't a football weekend, so everybody went home but the 3 of us. Sure. And it started on Thursday. It was a long weekend. It started on Thursday. And so we were up on Thursday. It was getting late. And we were like, man, let's just stay up. So we stayed up Thursday. And you know how, like, after that first night of staying up, when the sun comes up and you get that adrenaline, you're like, man, this is awesome. And so we, like, started talking trash. And, you know, of course we were drinking. And we started talking trash to everybody and to each other. And so we decided we were going to stay up for 4 days. And we made each other stay up for 4 days.
Get out of here.
Yeah, 4 days. We finally went to sleep Monday night, man.
How long did you sleep after that?
Oh, I slept the whole day.
Yeah.
The whole day. Yeah, I didn't get out of bed the next day.
It's funny, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, because I have a daughter and then I have 2 boys, and I keep telling my wife, because she has sisters, what it's going to be like and what kind of dumb stuff boys do. And that is a perfect example of the dumb stuff that guys do.
Exactly.
For no reason at all.
Why? Because they said we couldn't.
Exactly.
Because he said I couldn't. Yeah. Stupid.
I want to talk about this song that I heard with your daughter, Danny, and you produced this thing. This came out back in May, but I literally just heard it actually moments ago, and it's really, really good. Can you walk me through that, what that was like from a father's perspective? And then, you know, I also hear time and time again, artists say that they get a little worried about their children going into the rough business that is the music industry. Do you have any of those doubts, or is it like, just get it, girl?
I mean, it was crazy because I've heard Danny sing around the house a million times. She plays ukulele and sing, and I've heard her sing, and she's never come up to me and said, Dad, I want to sing or anything. But it really all started because I wanted to figure out Pro Tools, because I just hadn't sat with it. And so I was like, I'm going to sit with it, and I'm going to figure it out. And I got this track with my band, and I liked it, and I was all right, I'm going to get Danny to sing on it. And I tell her to come in the room and sing. And because I knew she knew it because we both loved the song. And I heard her playing it on ukulele. So I was like, come on and sing the song. She said, all right, Dad. She comes in and she starts singing. And I got to tell you, man, she sings it the first time, and I got the headphones, and I'm like, wow. I'm really to myself like, wow. And she sings it again. And I stop her halfway through the second verse, and I turn to her and I go, Danny, I got to apologize to you. I was like, I knew you could sing, but I didn't know you had this. I was like, I didn't know you were this great. And so we go and we finish the song, and we do what we got to do with it. And so I'm playing it back for her after I get it mixed and everything. And I said, so you think you want to do this? And she said, absolutely not.
That's great.
She's like, absolutely not. I was like, if you want to, I think we can do it. She's like, no, absolutely not.
You know what, though? That's great because that means when she does do it, it's coming from the heart. It's not a job.
Oh,
It's not,
absolutely.
you know, she's not doing it to reach some sort of goal when she does it. It's just putting art out there.
Oh yeah, she just loves to sing and she's great at it, but she doesn't want to do that for a living.
Let's get back to Beers and Sunshine, which we know is going to be another number one for you. And it's really, it's a great tune. I want to play a game called Beer or Not. I know you're a beer guy too. There's a lot of crazy craft brew names out there. So I'm going to run down a list of four.
I love it.
All right. So they're either really a beer or they're not. You tell me. Number one, for richer or porter, for richer or porter, beer or not?
No, that's not a beer.
Yeah, it is. It totally
Really?
You got to see some of the designs on these cans too. These people are genius. All right. Number two, Bros Brews. Bros Brew.
That's definitely a beer.
That one's not a beer. Completely.
Really?
I made it up.
Be now. I'm
right?
starting that one. I'm starting that one.
The same thing. I'm like, how is this not taken? All right. Number three, My Wife's Bitter. My Wife's Bitter.
I'm sure that is. That
is definitly a beer. All right. Last one. Smooth Hopperator. Smooth Hopperator.
That's not one. That can't be one.
It totally is a beer.
No way.
Yes.
Smooth Hopperator.
There is a list of names. If you Google it, you will see the most genius beer names ever. But that one's my favorite. Smooth Hopperator.
That's my favorite I've ever heard. That's genius. I drink that right now.
Right?
Right
there
now.
Is. Thanks so much for the time, and we're going to play Beers and Sunshine. It's always great to see you and catch up with you, and hopefully we could see some live music from you in person sometime soon, my man.
I would love that, man. I would love that. You take care.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.